Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or at strongcreditrewards.com.
Nelson.
Good gravy.
A radio host.
Found myself 2 million short of a millionaire.
Barely understandable.
Gee, Monetti.
We can rebuild him.
Guy's bright as a napkin.
We have the technology.
You gotta work with design, vision, and focus.
Better than he was before.
It's not lonely in my head.
Funnier.
I'm staring at a bowl of spaghetti trying to figure out which 2 ends come together.
More informative.
Characters defined by what you do once you screw up, not if you make mistakes along the way.
And just as sarcastic.
You sausage.
Oh, come on!
Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
KTLK AM 1150, welcome back to Nelson Radio. I'm back together with my special co-host, Mike Fell. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. Doesn't it feel good to be back together?
It does. I feel like it's a little mini-me right next to me, so this is exciting. Hey, we're going to have an unbelievable show today. Obviously, your background is going to be very insightful with your law practice. Mike is at the helm of the law office of Michael L. Fell down here in Orange County, one of the gifted legal professionals in your sector. And this theme of the show today, you're going to like. It's about giving back.
I like that. Maybe you'll give me back the $10 I loaned you last week.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that with interest. So we're going to have really the look at some individuals that have had tremendous successes and just some of the storylines in terms of where they chose to give attention to and spend some time with to grow our community, to change communities in some examples, and to make a difference with the successes they've had.
Well, and we have some great guests that are going to be able to share that for the audience, and I think it's going to be a wonderful show.
So with segment 1, we're going to be jumping into street noise, and then as we move along into the show, Nelson and Fell, we're going to share a little bit of some of the philanthropic efforts that we've had.
That's right.
And
we'll educate them. We'll tell them about giving it back, won't we?
Yeah, we will. And then, really excited, we have a father-son team coming on the show. Bill H. Lyon, the CEO of Lyon Homes, recently earned the right to lead the campaign for William Lyon Homes, was named the CEO just last month. And then in Coach's Corner, we have the General William Lyon, a 3-star general that's going to be joining us and sharing some of his stories. He's an unbelievable personality.
No, that's going to be one not to miss. I'm hoping you don't sleep through that one.
Well, no, I'll be right on top of it. And then the Stump.
The Stump the Commissioner.
Stump the Commissioner. Stump the Experts. We're going to field some listener questions and take a look at a couple of current and relevant issues, which is really the purpose of this show, is to unpack and sift through some of the white noise that's out there and really provide our listeners, with some clear direction and some insight on how to make some decisions, whether it's business, finance, real estate, or law.
And Nelson, I don't think in any of our shows that we've ever had a question where we've been stumped.
Not yet.
Have we?
No.
You think this will be the show?
Probably. Yeah, so we're going to be...
That will be your question.
That'll be my question. If you see that blank stare, please just keep talking.
I see it.
There you go. Street Noise is brought to you by our legal partner, the Law Office of Michael L. Fell, one of Orange County's most recognized criminal defense and victims' rights attorneys. And one area of your expertise is with DUIs. Anyone that has additional information that they need, they can text the letters OCDUI to 313131, or you can give us a call direct anytime during the show at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. So Street Noise.
Let's do it. And let's be looking at the must-ask mortgage questions for Academy Mortgage. What can you tell us about Academy Mortgage?
You know, it's interesting because the lending community as a whole, coming out of really too loose of lending practices, in many examples has overcorrected, and we now have an industry that is quasi being monitored and overseen by the government. So we have the success stories of our post office and the DMV that are now collaborating and running the mortgage industry. In some respects, it's just chaos with all the compliance.
Right.
And so it's time for certain lenders, and Academy is one of them, that are emerging out of this quagmire and still able to lend money and not have it be such a painful process.
Well, so then let's look at some of the question that I think that buyers or people who are going to refi look at, and they get that interest rate, whether it's what they call the teaser rate or whether it's a genuine rate that's out there that's quoted to them. Should they lock that right away?
I believe they should. I mean, interest rates have been at or below the all-time lows and just hovering there, bumping around, reacting to different headlines. But the bottom line is they only have one direction to go. And where you land in today's market, whether you capture an interest rate that's in the 2s or in the 3s, it's relatively speaking all free money. So my particular philosophy is once you decide that you're going to be purchasing a new home or refinancing, lock the interest rate, have that rate waiting at the finish line, and just simply don't take market risk, because when the market does change, it's going to change quickly.
Well, and one of the things that we hear, because we hear about a million radio advertisements for these, we can do your loan at 0.025% or whatever it may be.
All mortgage radio, right.
And so the question is this. How about my credit? And I don't need you to divulge my credit for our listeners, but the average person out there that hears these great numbers, are those real numbers, or how much does your credit affect those numbers?
It's the entire industry is morphed to where credit score now leads the charge on the kind of financing that you're eligible for. And the benchmark plus minus is if you have a credit score that's in the 720s or 740s or higher, you're in this upper echelon. The thing that most people don't realize is that there's some nagging credit examples that just pull down that the score, and we can correct that. So as we're going through the process, we can raise scores. We have many, many testimonies of people that who would have found their scores that dropped into the 600s that were able to elevate back into the 700s and find the best interest rate.
Without the old Rob Nelson eraser going there.
Without, the 10-point special, as you like to call it, exactly. You're listening to Street Noise with our legal partner, the Law Office of Michael Fell. Give us a call anytime, 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136. We're going to be talking about giving back, and if you do find yourself in trouble with a DUI, text the letters OCDUI to 313131, and that'll ring directly to Mike Fell, and he'll take good care of you.
So let's go back, Rob, and talk about some of these mortgage questions that we all have on our minds when we're either buying a house or refining, like we talked about. And at the end of the day, how do you know if you're going to be able to make those payments, those house payments? So not only the mortgage, but all the other payments that go with it.
Well, and that's what so many people don't realize. And even with part of your house payment, the taxes and insurance, the question often comes up, should I have those impounded? And the answer to that, I recommend to all of my clients to impound your taxes and insurance. It's an expense that you're going to have either way. Comes right before Christmas when you're spending extra money, right before personal income taxes are due on the 15th of April. And so pay as you go, and that way you're just not feeling like you're reaching behind the couch cushions for those extra expenses.
Right, those couple of cents to pay to Uncle Sam, huh?
Exactly, a couple of cents.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nelson.
There you have it. Street Noise brought to you by our legal partner, the Law Office of Michael Fell. We're going to be talking about giving back throughout our show, And we have coming up comments from one of the iconic business people in Orange County, military serviceman in Coach's Corner, 3-star General William Lyon. I'm with my special ghost. How do you like that? Special guest,
Hey,
Mike
I've been called
Fell.
worse.
Yeah, I know it. I'm about to. Give us a call, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We'll be right back.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com. DOI license 023531.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio. I'm with my guest host, Mike Fell, recognized as one of the industry's best in criminal defense and victims' rights representation. This segment is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. They brought our producer down, Phil Giangran, from Pasadena today. He said it was a lofty ride. Didn't worry about a thing. Got here early. No cares in the world. So Best Chauffeured. If you need any transportation services, this can be a limo, buses, transportation to the airport. All you need to do is text the word limo to 313131 or click through on our website, nelsonradio.com. When we're talking about giving back throughout the show, I want to hear some testimonies from some of our listeners, and you can share those by calling 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or connect to us on the web at nelsonradio.com. So, Mike, I know you do a tremendous amount of volunteer work and philanthropic work, and I wanted to just have you share that with our listeners and talk a little bit about some of the things that you're doing. And one, at my home church, at Saddleback Church, you do a number of different seminars there, correct?
I am. I'm the only guy with a yarmulke that walks into your church.
That's right.
I have not been thrown out yet, so I guess that's a good thing.
You've learned that there is the New Testament, something that follows the Old Testament?
That's
good.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, part of, I think, all of us in business, one of the things that I think is a good thing to do, not because it's a good business idea, but just because it's a good idea for ourselves. And one of that is, like you said, some of the things I do is Saddleback Church has a wonderful opportunity of basically free legal services. And there's free legal services from all different areas of the legal profession that donate their time to people of the church and even outside the church who maybe don't have the funds where they can go hire an attorney but at least can go talk to an attorney for whether it's 15, 20 minutes and kind of get an idea of what's going on with their case, with their loved one's case. And again, it's I call it very selfish act, because when I'm done from the day at Saddleback Church, I really feel good about what I've been able to, what advice I've been able to
and what
get
you're
back.
able to contribute.
Exactly. But I do tell them that they get what they pay for, so that's a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I want you to share with us all as well about Marcy's Law. And this is something that you worked on pro bono and were recognized with a national award. I think it was the National Crime Victims Law Institute that recognized you for your work with that. What about Marcy's Law?
Well, Marcy's Law is it's actually a new constitutional amendment in California as of 2008. And basically what Marcy's Law is it says if anyone who's been a victim of a crime can actually have their own representation in the criminal arena. So when that person that harmed you or harmed your family or your loved one is in court and they're facing trial, they're facing bail, they're facing arraignment, they're facing sentencing, the victims actually have a right to address the judge, either individually through their counsel or both, and it makes the victims part of the process. So no longer are victims just sitting in the back of the courtroom being told that there's a court date, if at all, but they're actually an active part of the criminal system. And there's a lot of healing that goes along with that. And I, with my background of being a district attorney our deputy district attorney for 18 and a half years and seeing this law develop, it's a wonderful area of my practice that I enjoy participating in.
And it's related to victims' restitution, but I wanted to know what that meant.
It's not necessarily related to victims' restitution, although that's an aspect of it. When we talk about victim restitution, a lot of times we're talking about monetary restitution. So somebody hit somebody else and they suffer medical expenses or they suffer out-of-work expenses. Those are what we call monetary restitution. But more importantly, it's just a victim's right to be heard as it relates to, hey, this is what this person did to me. This is how this person changed my life for the worse. This is what I feel should be the proper sentence. This is what I feel should be the proper bail. And whether or not the judge ultimately has that same opinion, the victim at least has their voice has been heard in the criminal process.
They have a mouthpiece.
Absolutely. So it's not just the defendant, it's not just the accused that has the rights, but it's the victim as well.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I'm with guest host Mike Fell, industry leader from the law office of Michael L. Fell. This segment presented by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limousine transportation services. We're looking at how we give back, how Nelson and Fellman give back. You can text the word limo to 313131. You can reach us direct at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136.
Now, Nelson, there is this horrible picture in my mind that I will never be able to get out, and that was when I went to a breakfast before your cycle to Seattle, and I saw you in these painted-on bike pants and this very, if we will, dorky bike helmet, but I was there to see you off on what was an amazing accomplishment for World Vision, and that was, like I said, your cycle to Seattle. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Cycle to Seattle was something that emerged. I didn't see it coming. I was involved just on a recreational and competitive level with cycling, but I was in the radio business as an advertiser, and the particular show host wanted to use the cycling platform to draw attention to World Vision and their child sponsorship. So they organized a ride, 1,400 miles. It was a solo ride. I had a support vehicle that shagged along and was averaging 140 miles a day. And what we did was call back into the radio program when it was broadcasting and talked about the day's experience and drew attention to the child sponsorship. Really a cool experience.
And Nelson, I think what you shared with me, which most people don't know, is since you were cycling to Seattle, Washington, it was all uphill. Is that correct?
I had a reporter. It's so funny because I had a reporter that interviewed me in Eugene, Oregon, and with a straight face, she asked that question. She says, well, why would you pedal north? Because it's all uphill. There you have it.
Now, I have family from Oregon, so I don't think that represents all of Oregon, just for the record there.
Exactly.
And since I'm sure we're being nationally syndicated at any moment, I wanted to throw that out there as well. You also couldn't hop off the bike because you did something for Orangewood Children's Home as well. I think the General's going to talk about that a little bit later.
It's one of his, he was one of the founding fathers of Orangewood, which is a children's home for abused children. And this cause, it was a shorter ride. We did this from Las Vegas to the Orangewood headquarters here in Orange County. And as happenstance has, we ended up departing a day where across the desert of California, Nevada, it snowed, about 8 inches of snow. And when we launched, the wind chill had it at -4. It's the coldest I've ever been, doing about 100 miles a day. But again, it raised a great attention to Orangewood and what they're doing with nearly 35,000 abused children here in Orange County on an annual basis.
Wonderful. That's great to hear those stories, Rob. And we're going to hear more from the General just about Orangewood a little bit later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Listen, we're looking at giving back and using our resources to make a difference. I'm Nelson. I'm with guest host Mike Fell from the law office of Michael L. Fell. This segment presented by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time transportation services worldwide. All you need to do to get that ride is text the word limo to 313131. We're talking about giving back. Stay tuned. We'll be with CEO Bill Lyon coming up. You can also reach us at 888-888-2136. We'll be right back.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation with you. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Being drunk wasn't even a consideration. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red, the arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce you to Orange County's office of Michael L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction, the record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-278-5559. That's 949-278-5559 for the law office of Michael L. Fell. 949-278-5559, or you can text the letters OCDUI to 313131. Welcome back. We're broadcasting remote from Lyon Air Museum. This is one of the greatest finds here in Orange County, right on the west side of John Wayne Airport. It's a terrific tribute to the greatest generation in aviation from World War II through the Korean conflict. Mike, people have to come down here and check this out.
Oh, yeah. These planes are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, I think the General and his son are going to let us take one of them out after the broadcast, right?
Keep asking, because I want to be up in one of these. All the planes that are here at the museum, they're all flying. They're exercised, I don't know how often, but they all are taken out and exercised. And we're right behind the fuddy-duddy, a B-17 World War II airplane. I think I understand there's only 12 remaining B-17 still flying in the world. And we have one right here at Lyon Air Museum. We want you to give us a shout. This segment brought to you by Title 365. With any questions, you can reach us direct by calling 888-888-2136. That's
888-2136, or you can submit your questions or comments on our website, nelsonradio.com.
Nelson, I am so excited to have on the show Bill H. He is the Chief Executive Officer of William Lyon Homes. And for those of us that don't know, William Lyon Homes was actually founded in 1954 by his father, General William Lyon, who we're going to be talking to in a little bit. Their combined companies have produced more than 100,000 residential units spanning a history of more than 55 years.
That's something.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's unbelievable.
But, Bill, thanks for being on the show. Glad to have you here.
Happy to be here.
And this is a great area that we've got in the museum here with all these wonderful planes. But let me direct you away from the planes for a second and talk to you about a place that I have been to many, many times, and that is Pretend City.
Oh, great.
Tell me about your involvement with Pretend City.
I got involved with Pretend City Children's Museum. It's probably been, I think, about 8 years ago now. And it was right after my daughter was born, and I was asked to join the board and have served on the board this whole time and chaired the board for about 3 years. But we're down in Irvine, just off Hubble Road, and it's really a child-sized city that's designed to help kids explore and learn and really to build better brains by giving them the chance to play in the ways that help children develop their mind and become better citizens when they grow up.
Now, Bill, for those of us that haven't had the opportunity to be there, and like I said, I hope it's okay because I go and play along with the kids because it's the only Pretend City I can really enjoy in my life. But describe for our listeners exactly the layout of Pretend City and why it's so much fun for kids.
Sure. Well, it's a child-sized city. It in a lot of ways resembles many of Orange County's landmarks. There's a marina area with some water play that the kids can do, some fountains and sailboats and things, and a really neat mural that sort of reflects the peninsula and Balboa. There's a little main street with a working street signal and a crosswalk signal, and the art studio looks vaguely familiar to the Laguna Art Institute. There's a supermarket, there's a library, there's a post office, there's a town square, looks a little bit like Orange maybe. There's a restaurant, there's a farm.
No courthouse.
No, there's no courthouse, but there is a very popular sort of emergency services with police and fire and dispatch, and it's really fun. I think the first time I took my daughter there was right after it opened, and she's about 5 years old. And she went to go into the supermarket. Supermarkets are very popular in children's museums because the kids just love to be able to load up the basket and pretend to be, mom or dad. And so she's loading up all the pretend, vegetables and fruits and everything. And so I was kind of watching her. I was watching the other kids at the register pretending they were paying and things. And so I said, so now what are you going to do? And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, how are you going to pay for all the stuff you're buying? And she said, well, you're going to pay for it. And I said, no, my money doesn't work here. And so she said, well, what am I supposed to do? I said, well, you got to go ask for a job. And so she went and talked to one of the staff, and they put her to work, and all the kids get a little time card when they check in, and you can get stamped in different in all the different areas with a different job. And so she stocked shelves for a little while, and then they stamped her card, and then you can take your card over to the ATM and put that in the ATM, and it'll spit out some money, and so then you can buy your groceries. And so that's one of the things to trying to educate kids on the systems and how life kind of interrelates, which I think as adults we take for granted, but there's a phone system, a money system, postal system, and food obviously can move from the farm to the grocery store to the house to the restaurant and back, and so all those sort of interconnections that help kids understand how the world works are really important.
Well, and that's good because my kids say to me, Dad, why do you go to work every day? All you need is that plastic card for the ATM machine.
You know what, I'm going to be applying for a job right after this broadcast.
Are you kidding me? I'm going to start working at Pretend City. Hey, there's another thing that you're actively involved in, and it's wonderful. And actually, when working at the courthouse and at the DA's office, I oftentimes would drive right past it and sometimes go into it, and that's the Bowers Museum, just an amazing museum with all sorts of different exhibits from all around the world. Tell us how you got involved and came to become on the board of directors of the Bowers Museum.
Well, I was fortunate enough. I had talked to Don Kennedy, who unfortunately has passed away recently, but about a gift for Pretend City, and the Kennedy Family Foundation actually named the library there at Pretend City. But he asked me to join the board at Bowers, and I was sad to say I'd never actually been to the Bowers in my whole life, living in Orange County, and was really surprised and impressed at what a jewel it is. To be right here in Orange County, and really a place that attracts really world-class exhibits of, art and culture from everywhere. And I've been very fortunate to be involved, a number of great people on the board, and I feel a little, I guess, like a fish out of water there. I'm not a cultural expert, but it's been very educational for me and given me a lot of exposure to things, and even took a trip to China with them that I wouldn't have probably ever done otherwise. So
wonderful. You learn things that your parents never felt like teaching you. Is that what you're saying?
Just a broader sense, particularly for some of the exhibits they've had, just been amazing.
Hey, let me switch gears here as we close out this segment, and I just wanted I was fascinated at one of your passions, which is auto racing, the vintage cars, and some of the historic races that you're involved with. Give us a peek behind the curtain with that.
Well, I think I traced that back. I was about 13 years old. My father bought the last of the Harris collection that was being sold in Reno, Nevada, and there was a 1927 Type 35 Bugatti as part of that group of cars, and we kept some of the cars, including that one, and we sold others. And, I was really fortunate to have exposure to a lot of really unique and beautiful automobiles as a kid, but we were up there viewing all the cars, and for whatever reason, this Bugatti was off in a shop in pieces being put back together, and I asked him, well, what happened? Were you restoring it, or, why was the car all apart? Because every car we have is either being restored or being fixed, or there was always a reason. And they said, no, it was raced a couple months ago, and so they were going back through the car. And so somewhere that put a bug in my head that, well, that's kind of neat that somebody would go still race these things. And I think it's similar to my dad's feeling about all the planes in here being able to fly. Is it's one thing to, look at an object that's beautiful and appreciate it for the design and the form of it, but like all these planes, they were meant to be flown, and they were designed for a purpose. So to really be a part of doing things that you're getting those objects back into their element, I think is what's attracted me to it.
Thank you for being with us. That's Bill Lyon, the CEO of William Lyon Homes. I'm with my guest host, Mike Fell, the law office of Michael L. Fell, right here in Orange County. And this segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limousine transportation services worldwide. If you need a limo, text the word limo to 313131. You can reach out direct to us at 888-888-2136. Stay tuned. We have Coach's Corner coming up with General William Lyon. We'll be right back.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation with you. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Being drunk wasn't even a consideration. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, someway category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce you to Orange County's office of Michael L. Fell, nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction, the record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-278-5559. That's 949-278-5559 for the law office of Michael L. Fell. 949-278-5559, or you can text the letters OCDUI to 313131.
Everyone loves a good mystery, but that's hardly the case when you're in a real estate transaction. With Title365.com, the mystery behind title insurance and escrow services has been kicked to the curb. You gain instant access to status and downloadable documents. Want customized real-time order information and documents as they happen 24/7, 365? No problem. And for the first time, Title365 is bringing together leading professionals working on your real estate transaction, so the process is even more transparent and efficient thanks to up-to-the-minute communication. You can even retrieve contact information for leading professionals offering real estate and home-related services right in your own community and learn more about title insurance all in one convenient place. Be sure to ask your local realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 or visit Title365.com. Mystery solved.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Welcome back. We're broadcasting remote from Lyon Air Museum, a tribute to the greatest generation of aviators from World War II through the Korean air conflict or war conflict. This is Nelson Radio. I'm proud to be with my special guest host, Mike Fell from the law office of Michael L. Fell. This segment brought to you by Title 365. Give us a shout anytime. We want to hear from you. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. And Mike, excited to announce that we are moving into Coach's Corner with General William Lyon.
General, it is such an honor to have you here today. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me again.
Absolutely. And we said before, boy, your son did such a great job, and I know you're going to do just as well.
We'll see.
You know, Lyon Homes has the motto, quote, "We build homes to live your dreams," unquote. But I think what is so fantastic is that you also provide homes for those without. And I'll tell you, being with the district attorney's office and being with the court system for such a long time, I am such a huge fan of Orangewood Homes. And I know that you're very involved with Orangewood. I know that you were the driving force behind the unique and successful public and private partnership that raised over $8 million to build it. And as founding chairman, I understand that you personally gave a gift of $1 million just to show the other board members how committed you were to this program. So if you could at this time, first I'd like to thank you for all the work you've done, because I've personally been to Orangewood. I've personally seen what Orangewood does. And I'd like you to take an opportunity to just tell the listeners a little bit about Orangewood and all the fantastic things that you're involved with and they're involved with.
Well, it came as a way of helping, as anybody could experience, but the way we got the organization together in the beginning was somewhat different. I was asked by one of the judges in Orange County, and he called me up and said, because I had just come back from active duty in the Air Force for 4 years, if I'd consider going to a meeting. So I did. The judge didn't show up, but I showed up, and a bunch of people I had never met showed up, and he had a paper and he left for everybody, and he put on the top that I would be the chairman of this organization. So we started talking, and I really didn't know what it was all about. He didn't go into any detail about it, but we started talking. The people were the same way. They didn't know anything about the home that was presently there. I certainly didn't know anything about it. But one of the people from the county was taxed with the idea of coming and presenting us what this was all about and how we could move this into the public sector, into not a private home, but have it supported by the public in Orange County rather than just the county supporting this. So we started talking, and met these people, and they all had different backgrounds and different ideas, and we began to put this together, and then began a plan of what you mentioned. How do you do this, create this image of what's going to happen, to build the building and do with the whole thing that's going on that we didn't really know much about the children.
Well, in general, it's wonderful because the Orangewood home, as you know, it is a home to these children who's either been sexually abused or physically abused, and most of the time the parents are the ones that did it to them, and they've got nowhere to live. And Orangewood Home opens up the facilities. It's got dorms. It has newborn babies that are sometimes in a separate dorm of their own, and it gives education. It gives, if you will, parenting for the volunteer or that volunteers give them. It's just a wonderful, wonderful home that I'm sure you've had a lot of opportunity to visit through the years.
Oh, really?
Well, and the other thing that the General, I think, has started through the Orangewood program is it gives other people the ability to give back. And I know, for instance, I've had friends that go there with their golden retriever, and they go there and they take their dog for the children to be able to pet, and it's therapy for the children. There are people that go there and just to hold the newborns because that is so important, having that human touch. And so what you've done, General, is not only a wonderful thing for these children, but also a wonderful thing for people to be able to volunteer their time to help these children. So we thank you for that.
Well, thank you. But I'd just like to mention, when we got started, we got this group together who really didn't know each other and started a plan of how this home should be built and what it should contain. And it turned into something that was really new to most of the people in the county, especially people that are managing the county, because there was nothing like this. And so we decided it had to be a home that when these young people came there, this would be a haven for them that they had never had in their life, that would be bringing them in there and they would feel safe. And so we designed a building that was not like what normally the city or a county would do. And we got some criticism for that. And one of the parties called me up and said, "You're just wasting money. What are you doing? This should just be, covered roof." And I said, "We're not wasting any money because we do so much of that in our business. I've got a company that's going to donate all of this.
All the materials."
And so we kept doing that, and finally at the end, we wanted those cottages they live in to be on the floor, not a high-rise, and there's a whole situation of the calmness and the beauty of that whole area. Recreation, it's got a school there, it's got all this thing. But the best thing it has, you have people that are there that go to it, like you talk about it, and engage with those young people, because that's what they need the most.
Let me throw one more question at you, and I want to understand why it's so important for you to give back. Why is that important?
No, I think it came from my father and mother. They were very giving people. I saw my father for years, was always answering some call. If it wasn't somebody in the family, it was some friend that was down, and he'd help take care of them. My mother, during the Depression, was a very strong lady, and people used to come and knock on the back door of our house. We lived in West Los Angeles, and then I would, just happen to walk in the kitchen and hear somebody eating dinner, and she cooked a whole dinner for them and got them all straightened out, never worried about lock the door, or she wouldn't talk to anybody. So I saw those things as I grew up, and it made an impression on me that if I have a chance to do something or it's needed, I want to be part of that, and that's what I did.
Yeah, wonderful testimony. General, I want to thank you for being with us, and Bill, I want to thank you as well. And we've been studying and looking at just giving back, using our resources and our giftedness to give back to the community. Certainly two great testimonies of the things that you've done with our community here in Orange County. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you both for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
This is Nelson Radio. We've been with the General, William Lyon, in Coach's Corner. This segment brought to you by Title 365, and we've been looking throughout this week's show on giving back. Great testimony, Mike, on just how to do that, whether it's on the a small scale or large scale.
Yep.
Anyone can make a difference.
Absolutely.
You can reach us direct at 888-888-2136. Two other easy ways to connect. You can text my name, Nelson, to 313131, or jump on the web and click through to nelsonradio.com. We'll be right back with the Stump the Expert.
This is Nelson from Nelson Real Estate Radio, and I want to have a very serious conversation with you. Let me paint the word picture. The drinks were innocent enough, just relaxing with friends. Really, I felt fine. Being drunk wasn't even a consideration. Then the rearview mirror lights up with the blue and red. The arrest, cuffed, and in jail. Really? Me? All too frequent, we wish in the somehow, some way category for a do-over, a mulligan to make a different decision. Let me introduce you to Orange County's Office of Michael L. Fell. Nearly 2 decades serving in the Orange County District Attorney's Office as a prosecutor, now fighting for your rights in criminal defense. Recognized as one of Orange County's top 5 criminal defense attorneys, ready to represent you against his former colleagues. Save the embarrassment, the potential conviction, the record, the possible loss of job. Call Mike Fell direct for your legal mulligan, a chance to make it right. 949-278-5559. That's 949-278-5559 for the law office of Michael L. Fell. 949-278-5559, or you can text the letters OCDUI to 313131.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778, or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license number 0235301.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST, or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST, or online at bestchauffeured.com.
KTLK AM 1150, welcome back. We're moving into the Stump the Experts. I'm with my special guest host, Mike Fell, and this segment brought to you, Mike, by my mortgage company, Academy Mortgage, providing the marketplace the exclusive close-on-time guarantees. Accountability coming out of the mortgage sector. It's something that's now unheard of.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? That combined with my nearly 3 decades, that ages me a little bit, 3 decades in the mortgage industry.
Well, and you started when you were about 60, correct?
There you have it. Yeah, General Lyon's going to laugh at that joke. Call me direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. And we're going to move towards Stump the Experts. Here's some listener questions. Last week, you were talking about your practice and giving some advice on what to do after the arrest, and there were some follow-up phone calls regarding criminal defense. So let me throw the first one at you. And it says, certainly there are instances where jail is unavoidable. You're going to jail. How do criminal defense attorneys help out when facing incarceration?
Well, first of all, I am not stumped. Because I have an answer for this one, Nelson.
All right. Give it a go.
And the bottom line is this. Of course, it depends upon the crime. There are some crimes which obviously will be unavoidable. However, for most of the crimes that I'm seeing with my practice, the ones where we're talking about DUI, some theft offenses, maybe some drug offenses, there are what we call creative alternatives. meaning there are alternatives to jail where the person could actually be productive to the community without having to cost the taxpayers their money to house somebody. There are things such as community service. There are things such as private jails where the person pays themselves to stay in the jail at night but works during the day. There's such a thing as home arrest or home confinement. Again, the person...
Private jails and home confinement completely separate.
Completely separate. One is, hey, you pay to have a device put on your leg.
Like the one you're wearing?
Exactly.
Yeah,
the one that's tied to your chair so I don't leave. And again, there are some creative alternatives so that, again, the good person who made a stupid mistake, they're not in there with your hardened felons, but they actually get to keep their job. They get to be productive to society, but they're also paying a price for what they did.
All right, makes sense. Try this. Are DUIs cited for only alcohol and marijuana?
Absolutely not. The whole expression driving under the influence is just that. It can be the influence of alcohol. It can be under the influence of marijuana, of cocaine, of methamphetamine, of prescription drugs. So you have a legitimate prescription to take Vicodin, to take Valium, to take whatever the case may be. But if it renders you in such a situation that you cannot drive a vehicle as would a normal, sober person under the same or similar circumstances, and I didn't make that up, that's the test, then you are driving under the influence. Well, and I see a lot of younger people doing one of two things. Number one, they have anxiety. So they're being prescribed all these anti-anxiety medications. Sometimes the anti-anxiety medication are going to do just that. They're going to put you in a state where you shouldn't be operating a car. Mm-hmm. Second of all, I see marijuana completely on the rise based upon the new laws, the Compassionate Use Act. There's a lot of people that are out there smoking marijuana and are driving a vehicle. And the problem with that is marijuana will stay in your system many times for up to 6 weeks. So when you are driving, if you're driving in a way that an officer determines you may be under the influence and they're taking your blood and it's come back that you've got what's called THC or THCA in your system, you're very well looking at a DUI.
DUI charge. This next question is a divorce question. I know that it's not in your sphere of influence, but I wanted to...
Was it written in by my wife?
Yeah, she submitted this, and it started with please.
Yeah.
Now, and we'll address this in shows coming up. We have actually, as our attendees today, family law firms, and the question that was raised is what happens when a spouse tries to shelter assets in order to avoid having them included in the settlement. So I'm going to hit the pause button on that. We'll come back with an answer when we focus on family law with one of our upcoming programs. You're listening to Nelson. I'm with my special guest host, Mike Fell. We just completed the Stump the Experts, and we didn't stump Michael L. Fell. This segment brought to you by Academy Mortgage, our exclusive close-on-time guarantees, combined with my 29 years of experience. Give me a call. I'll answer the phone direct. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or you can connect with me through our web platform, nelsonradio.com. Wanted to shift gears here, Mike, and with our show theme, we've been giving back with our show and drawing awareness to Treasures of Africa. And Treasures of Africa, as you know, is our sponsor orphanage down in Moshi, Tanzania. Little Man Tate has been down to Tanzania and has seen, also Malawi, has seen what these orphanages are doing and the kind of relief that they're providing, and the confirmation that monies that are donated are actually getting to these communities. And wanted to introduce Little Man Tate and have him talk to us about this special child that's looking for sponsorship.
How's it going, Nelson?
It's Nelson, not Pops, Nelson.
Nelson.
There you go. I'm fine.
Usually it's Sir, isn't it?
It should be.
It shouldn't be.
What's going on?
So when I go to Malawi and when I go to Tanzania, I see, and the person that I'm going to talk about today, I've seen this day in and day out every time I've gone there, is you just see a kid sitting in the street. There's no parent there. And Jeremiah was a 3-year-old that was just sitting in the street, left him, trying to live life as a 3-year-old with no one there to help him out. And so as the orphanage crew was driving around within the city limits, they spotted him on the road, and he didn't have a family, didn't have anyone to take care of, and so they picked him up and took him to the orphanage. Now he's being raised with the money that's being given to this orphanage. He's being raised in order to become a benefit to society.
And when they discovered him, I understand that he was soiled, he was wearing clothes that didn't even fit him, and he had given up, just literally submitted to his condition was just literally on the side of the road, waiting to perish, waiting to die.
Yeah, I mean, what more can a 3-year-old do if no one's helping him?
Yeah. Little Jeremiah, we're going to have a picture of him up on our website, nelsonradio.com. There'll also be a click-through to get to treasuresofafrica.org, and they're a fabulous organization, and they're making a difference. There's also an ask for a single donor out there for a $2 million gift. Sounds outrageous, but I know somewhere here in Southern California there's going to be that donor with a $2 million gift that will allow the construction of a new orphanage housing 126 kids. Let's give back. That's the call to action. And I want to, as we close out, Mike, talk about the best of the day we had. Of course, General Lyon, and shared his purpose in giving back, had unbelievable successes, but really has the legacy in his story of giving back to the community.
Absolutely. And then we had Bill Lyon, and not only is he carrying on his father's legacy, but he's created his own as well.
He really has. And a special thanks to you, our special guest host, Mike Fell, from the law office of Michael L. Fell. Appreciate you being with us.
Absolutely.
And our producer, another stellar performance from Phil Giangran. Thanks for putting this show together. You can reach out to us. We want to sift through all of this white noise, whether it be business, finance, real estate, or law. Give us a call direct, 888-888-2136. Thanks for listening. That's Nelson Radio, 888-888-2136, or click on nelsonradio.com. We'll be back in the Burbank Clear Channel studios next week with our special host, Marco Ruffo, providing insight on his marketplace in the luxury space. We look forward to talking to you. We'll see you next week.